My God, why have you forsaken me? When some of those standing near heard this, they said, "Listen, he's calling Elijah." One man ran, filled a sponge with wine vinegar, put it on a stick, and offered it to Jesus to drink. "Now leave him alone, and let's see if Elijah comes to take him down," he said. And with a loud cry, Jesus breathed his last. And the curtain of the temple was torn in two from top to bottom. And when the centurion who stood there in front of Jesus heard his cry and saw how he died, he said, "Surely this man was the Son of God." When he saw how he died, it's the impact of Jesus' death. I want to show you another visual impact of death. This is the weirdest thing. I hope it shows up on the video. You can see where a bird in flight hit our window. You can see his beak, you can see his eye, you can see his tail feathers, you can actually see where his feet come down, and then you can see his wingspan across. That's the last of that bird's life here on earth. And he left a visual, visible, tangible impact with his death. This week we're looking at the anniversary, or observing the anniversary of 9/11 and that tragedy. And it's all about the impact of death. It's all about looking at the senseless deaths of people because of sin gone wild in a world where it's Satan's playground. It's full of desperation and despair, and people asking the question of why, and questioning if there is a God, and why is there so much hatred and war and terrorism and lack of love and care. The impact of their deaths is it brings more questions of why. What it did momentarily is it brought a nation together where people wanted to care for each other and everybody was there to help each other. But then over time we go back into our own ways of it's all about me, myself, and I, and not my neighbor. That's part of what it means to live here in this world. The impact of our death, or our neighbor's death, or even thousands of people's death, though we might remember it even 10 years later, it fades. Someday this image of this bird and his impact of his death will wash away and it'll fade. But the impact of Jesus' death, as it's recorded in the Bible, will never fade. It will never fade away. The grass will fade, the flowers will fade. That will never fade. Why? Because Jesus' death defines life. The impact of Jesus' death defines who God is. The impact of Jesus' life and his death, what it looked like when he died. When the centurion saw it and said, "Truly this was the Son of God." The impact of that death defines who God is and who we are. The impact of that senseless death that shows what hatred in the world, hatred for God himself, looks like, is the only thing that can actually put an image over and provide a looking glass to look through and at something like 9/11 and other senseless deaths and death itself. For when Jesus died, he died to save us from ourselves, to save us from our sin. He showed us what it means when God meets up with us, and that when we come face to face with God himself, we want to kill him because we want to be God. In this time, when we look at senseless deaths caused by hatred and war and terrorism, let us know that the only hope, the only life, the only salvation, the only name, the only image to place over that, and all other deaths here on this earth for all time and in all places, is that impact of the death of Jesus Christ, who died to save you for himself.